5 Russian fighter jets hit by Ukrainian drones. How did it happen? On the night of August 4th, the skies above temporarily occupied Crimea appeared calm, hiding the fragility of a fortress once thought to be impenetrable. Under the cover of darkness, at the Saky Air Base, the pride of the Russian Air Force in the Black Sea region, fighter jets lay at rest, unaware that in the distance, a bold and meticulously planned operation by Ukraine's Security Service, or SBU, was reaching its climax. This was no routine strike. It was a statement, a demonstration of precision and reach that would echo all the way to the halls of the Kremlin. The SBU's elite Alpha unit, known for carrying out the most difficult and high-risk operations, deployed a swarm of unmanned aerial vehicles, the spearhead of Ukraine's resistance. Their target is the Saky military airfield, a base of immense strategic value to Russia's entire southern war machine. The importance of Saky cannot be overstated. Since 2022, the base had been transformed into a dagger pointed directly at Ukraine's southern heart. From its runways, Russian fighter jets launched missile strikes on Ukrainian cities, sowing terror and destruction. Surveillance aircraft stationed there provided critical intelligence, monitoring Ukrainian troop movements and ships in the Black Sea corridor. Saky functioned as a nerve center, a launch pad, and Russia's eye in the sky, enabling them to project air power far beyond the front lines. To control Saky is to control much of the aerial dynamics over the Black Sea, a fact well understood by Ukrainian military planners. Therefore, disabling this base, even temporarily, is akin to blinding one of the giant's eyes and breaking one of its sharpest fangs. As time passed, the scale of the SBU's operational success began to emerge, and the losses inflicted on Russia were truly painful. Early reports, confirmed by satellite imagery and intelligence, revealed a devastating blow to high-value assets. At least one Su-30SM multi-role fighter jet was completely destroyed, reduced to a charred hulk on the runway. Beside it, another Su-30SM sustained severe damage, likely rendering it inoperable for an extended period. The damage didn't stop there. 3 Su-24 tactical bombers were also hit, adding to the list of significant operational setbacks for the Russian aerospace forces. This wasn't just a material loss, it was a financial and strategic humiliation. Each Su-30SM, a sophisticated combat platform and a cornerstone of Russia's air power, costs between $35 million and $50 million. Losing just one is equivalent to wiping out the budget of a major infrastructure project. However, the real loss goes far beyond dollar value. The Su-30SM is the crown jewel of the Russian Air Force, a versatile air superiority fighter capable of air-to-air combat, ground attacks, and maritime patrols. Its destruction diminishes Russia's ability to challenge the Ukrainian Air Force and defend its own assets in the Black Sea. Meanwhile, the Su-24, though an older design, is a battle-proven workhorse. It serves as a key platform for low to medium precision ground strikes. The disabling of 3 of them directly hampers Russia's capacity to provide close air support to its ground forces or to target Ukrainian infrastructure. If the trend of destroying these advanced fighter jets continues, the consequences for Russia will be dire. They will face a gradual erosion of the air superiority they have long relied on, forcing their ground operations to proceed without air cover, and leaving supply chains and command centers increasingly vulnerable. Every jet destroyed also means the loss of experienced pilots and trained ground crew, resources far more difficult to replace than the hardware itself. Ironically, the Su-30SMs that Moscow so proudly showcases have proven to be highly vulnerable to the combination of Ukrainian and Western technology and clever tactics. This is not the first time the jet has been humiliated. The public still remembers a previous incident in which a Su-30SM from the 43rd Independent Naval Aviation Regiment, based in Saky, was spectacularly downed by a Ukrainian man-portable air defense system. A system fired from a soldier's shoulder was able to neutralize a war machine worth tens of millions of dollars. That event, and now the drone strike in Saky, highlight an uncomfortable truth for the Kremlin. Their expensive and complex technology is often no match for cheaper, smarter, and more adaptive asymmetric solutions. However, the drone battle on the night of August 4th did not merely target the gleaming aircraft on the runway. The attack struck deeper, at the very core of the base's operational capabilities. One of the most devastating secondary explosions came from an ammunition depot, where bombs and missiles for the Saky Air Fleet were stored. The destruction of this vital facility had a crippling domino effect. Without a ready supply of aviation munitions, the remaining jets at Saky and nearby bases were rendered toothless tigers. Russia's ability to sustain airstrikes in southern Ukraine and over the Black Sea corridor would be drastically reduced. Every strike mission would now require more complex and time-consuming logistics to bring in munitions from more distant depots, giving Ukraine a valuable window of time to regroup and consolidate. This attack is especially noteworthy because it confirms an increasingly clear pattern. Ukraine is now systematically dismantling Russia's most valuable military infrastructure deep behind enemy lines. From the cheapest assets to the most expensive, all have proven vulnerable to the sudden arrival of precision drones. Russia's ability to protect its own territory, even its most heavily guarded military facilities, is being steadily eroded day by day. These attacks are no longer mere border disruptions. They are strategic strikes aimed with remarkable precision and coordination at the heart of Russia's military power. This raises the pressing question: are Russian air bases no longer secure? Saky Air Base was supposed to be one of the safest places in Crimea. As a key Russian stronghold, the base is equipped with advanced layers of air defense, including the S-400 missile system, which has been touted as the best air defense system in the world. In theory, the S-400 is designed to intercept all types of aerial threats, from stealth fighter jets to ballistic missiles. Defenses at a base like Saky typically consist of multiple layers. Short-range missiles like the Pantsir S-1 for close-range threats, medium-range systems like the Buk, and the main air defense umbrella provided by the S-400. All of this is supported by a sophisticated radar network and patrols of interceptor fighter jets. This layered defense strategy, covering area, terminal, and point defense, is supposed to effectively detect, counter, and neutralize aerial threats such as Ukrainian drones. However, on that night, the entire Russian air defense doctrine failed completely. The success of the Ukrainian drones exposed a fatal weakness in Russia's defense philosophy. Their rigid and expensive systems were designed to counter conventional threats from the Cold War era, not swarms of small, smart, low-flying drones attacking from multiple directions at once. This is where the brilliance of Ukraine's drone strategy shines. Rather than confronting Russia's strength directly, they exploit its weaknesses. These drones, often relatively inexpensive platforms, are launched in large numbers to overwhelm Russian air defenses. Some drones act as decoys, triggering radar and defense systems to reveal their positions, while subsequent waves strike the real targets. A strategy dubbed the spider web is a perfect example of this approach. In some previous operations, the drones weren't launched from deep inside Ukrainian territory, but from civilian trucks covertly positioned by special forces operators near Russian bases. This tactic completely flipped the situation. Russia's border defenses became irrelevant when attacks originated from within territory they controlled. This is a shadow war that is deeply embarrassing for the Kremlin, showing that their intelligence has been compromised and their control over occupied territory is highly fragile. The latest operation at Saky signals an important shift in Ukraine's strategy, which now consistently targets the depth of Russia's operational capacity, its logistics, command centers, and most valuable equipment. Of course, Russia responded with anger and desperate efforts to adapt. Satellite images of the destroyed Donetsk airport reveal significant activity. There, Russia is constructing new infrastructure dedicated to the deployment of Iranian-made Shahed drones and their locally produced Gerbera variant. Near the damaged new terminal, enclosed and reinforced storage platforms for these drones are being hastily built. Manual control stations and loading or unloading areas for warheads are being prepared, indicating an intent to turn Donetsk into a major drone operations hub. The runway is being repaired to enable quick launch and recovery of UAVs for reloading or maintenance. However, amid these preparations, there are signs of unease. Russia has also been observed constructing fake positions and aerial observation posts, an attempt to deceive satellite surveillance and Ukrainian reconnaissance drones. The construction of these decoys is a tacit admission that they no longer feel secure and are unsure of their ability to protect their real assets. Moscow realizes that their drones, Shahed and Gerbera, will not only serve as kamikaze drones, but will also need to be used in more complex operational scenarios to counter Ukraine's advances. Still, the question remains, is Russia truly confident in their current position, which is now also within range of Ukraine's precision strikes? Russia's sense of insecurity is justified. The attack on August 2nd, just 2 days before the strike on Saky, highlighted the range and ambition of Ukraine's drone campaign. Ukrainian UAVs successfully struck 2 highly important targets deep within Russian territory. The first was the airbase in Primorsko-Akhtarsk, a key facility for storing and launching Shahed drones used to terrorize Ukrainian cities. Hitting this base was crucial because it represented a proactive strategy. Instead of merely shooting down drones over their territory, Ukraine is now destroying the nests from which those drones originate, reducing the burden on its own air defense systems. The second target that day was even more strategically significant: the Elektropribor military factory in Penza, more than 600 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. Kiev claims, and Western intelligence tends to agree, that this factory is a critical component of Russia's defense industrial complex. Within its walls, vital equipment is produced for digital networks and military command systems, avionics for aircraft, navigation systems for armored vehicles and ships, and components for Russia's military space program. The attack on Elektropribor was not merely symbolic, it was a surgical strike aimed at crippling the technological nervous system of the Russian military. Every component that fails to be produced in Penza can delay or degrade the quality of new tanks, jets, or command systems on the battlefield. What kind of major attacks will hit Russia in the future? Amid the ongoing conflict with Russia, Ukraine has revolutionized its defense through a surge in domestic drone production. As of April 2025, an astonishing statistic shows that over 95% of the drones operating on the front lines are domestically made, a testament to Ukraine's resilience and industrial innovation. With a capacity now able to produce up to 4 million drones annually, Ukraine is not only holding its ground but also preparing for large-scale counterattacks. By the end of June, 1.5 million drones had been delivered to the troops, a direct response to Russia's record-breaking attack that once launched nearly 500 drones and missiles in a single night. Russia will no longer face just isolated attacks, but rather swarms of intelligent drones operating simultaneously. These strikes will penetrate deep into Russian territory, targeting not only military assets but also logistics centers, defense industry complexes, and strategic air bases. Imagine coordinated waves of attacks disabling multiple critical facilities at once, creating chaos and crippling Russia's ability to fight. The era of mass precision strikes has arrived, and Ukraine holds the reins. So, with each successful strike, the myth of Russia's invincible fortress continues to erode. From Crimea to Penza, from air bases to advanced factories, Ukraine has shown that there is no safe place for Russia. The question now hanging in the air, keeping generals in Moscow awake at night, is: will there be a Spiderweb Season 2? Will we once again witness even bolder operations, where drones are launched from trucks hidden in plain sight, turning every inch of Russian-occupied territory into a danger zone? For the Kremlin, this is a deeply embarrassing and terrifying prospect, a stark reminder that the war they started has now reached their very doorstep, delivered by relentless and fearless swarms of drones. Do you know something about Ukraine's latest strategy? Leave your thoughts, and thanks for watching.